Cause worrying only makes you feel you can't win. And when you feel it down, remember you can win. Victory. The battle is over. The battle is over. Put me in darkness and I'll be the light. Throw me in the ring and I'll show you a fight. Cause I ain't worried.
Shalom.
You get me in order. Push me out the boat and I'll walk on water. I ain't worried. No. Cause worrying only makes you feel you can't win. Cause when you're feeling down, remember you can't win. Pray and don't worry. You gotta break it.
Only this life.
And all the battle is over. You better play.
Shalom.
You better know it. And the battle is over. It's already done. If you believe it, it's already done. Just trust him. Cause it's already done. Already done. Already done. You can pray it. If you believe it. Come on and thank him right now. Cause it's already done. Already done. Thank him right now. And the battle is over. We're gonna pray. Don't worry. Just God in control. It's already done. If you believe it, it's already done. Just trust him. It's already done. Already done. Already done. Praying. If you believe it, you better thank him. Because it's already done. Already done. We gotta thank you. You know you got it. The battle is over. Hey, yeah. And the battle is over. Don't worry. Just thank you for the victory. You gotta pray. And don't worry. Just thank you for the victory. You gotta pray. And don't worry. Just thank you for the victory. You gotta pray. Just thank you for the victory. Come on, pray.
Shalom. Happy Sabbath. Alrighty then, we back in the building. One Nation Israelite School. We're here quite early. I don't even say quite early. I've been up ever since 8. I've been up since 8 a.m. It's going about it in my head, thinking. A lot of thoughts going through my head today for some reason. Happy Sabbath, Shalom, everybody. Shalom on my way. It may cut off. Wow. Okay. Glory to the Father. Just, you know what I'm saying? Have safe trip. Safe. Why am I tongue twisted ever since last night? Safe travels. On the way here, we send up some prayers that you get here safe and sound. It's doing a lot of raining and it's doing like symbolic thundering and lightning because it's not even boom over here. It's not thundering, but as you can see, it keep knocking out the light. Yeah. Let me cut the hallway light off. But y'all, the good thing is happening now. Y'all can still see me clearly. If it was nighttime, it'd be bad. All right, so hold on. I'm gonna leave that light like that until it cut back on, and then I'm gonna just cut it back off. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. I've been tongue twisted and trying to speak within. But once again, shalom and happy Sabbath to everyone. You know what I'm saying, a glorious day. The Most High doing His will. We just pray, have a little mercy on us, so we can keep some light going on in the building. All right. But if not, Lord, make a way for this thing to happen. With it doing like this, I'm afraid if it does this, it may mess up my class, or it may mess up the class because I wouldn't want to play clips and risk it killing the Xbox or the TV. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when that stuff happens, it don't come back on. You know what I'm saying? So if it's still doing this by the time Sabbath class, the actual class comes, it's going to kind of mess up the class because I'm not going to be able to play clips. All right, so I want to go. I think when we I want y'all to think about something. There are a lot of people that say they're in this truth. So a lot of people say they're in the truth. They put fringes on. They don't eat pork. You know what I'm saying? They do the things. They let's put it like this. They live in a certain manner that you can see they know of the truth. They somewhat believe because they doing the laws around it. But are they really in the truth? Are they really down for the truth? Are they down for the movement? Because when it comes to the works, keeping the commandments is just like what Christians would consider having faith. It's just one part of it. But then the action part of it, the actual putting in the work, the what do you bring to the table part of it, they're not actually doing. So when you take those perspective and when you take that into perspective, then you have to really look at yourself and say, am I really in this truth, or am I just a Christian with fringes? Am I just a Christian that, okay, I abide by the dietary law, but I abide by the simple things. But as far as the actual works, the things that are going to edify the nation, the things that are going to bring people out of darkness into light, am I actually a part of that movement? Am I actually, because if not, you're not in the truth. You have a form of the truth. Somehow I want to, as I was thinking about it, it plagued my mind this morning because I know a lot of people that are in the truth by partiality, but they're not all the way in. They're not all the way. They're not completely in this truth by their works, by their deeds. They're partial. Let's go to Revelations. We're going to go to Revelations chapter 3. Revelations chapter 3 and verse 15.
Revelation chapter 3 and verse 15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot.
Right, so the Most High says, I know thy works. Christ is saying, I know your works. I know you don't eat shrimp, lobsters, crabs, pork. I know you put fringes on your shirt. I know you don't bald your head. I know you're not whoremongering, fornicating. I know these things. But I also know that you don't put any works in. I also see that when it's time to get jobs done, you slack. I also see these things. Come on.
So then, because thou art lukewarm.
So you're not hot, but you're not cold. You in the middle. You lukewarm. You're partial, and for lack of better words.
And neither cold nor hot.
And so you're neither cold nor hot. You're not all the way. You're not doing everything. You're not going full throttle for this thing, but you're not completely sleeping on it either. But the Bible says, go back up. Go back up. Go back up. Read 15 from top again.
I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot.
Come on.
I would thou were cold or hot.
But I would prefer you to be either cold or hot. Either go all the way with it, or don't, or just stay home. Don't go at all. I would prefer you be I would prefer either one. I would prefer you just break all the commandments and don't do the works, or keep the commandments and do the works also. I need you one or the other. I don't need you playing both sides. I don't need you standing in the middle. Come on.
So then, because thou art lukewarm.
So because you're not choosing, you're lukewarm, you're partial, you're in the middle.
And neither cold nor hot.
Come on.
I will spew thee out of my mouth.
He says, I will spew thee out of my mouth. He's saying, I'm going to reject you. I'm going to kill you. So now what you have to do is you have to understand that with Christ, he's not taking you in the middle. He's either saying you're going to do the works and keep the commandments, or just stay to hell with both of them, because I don't want you if you only keeping the commandments and you ain't doing the works. I don't want you if you're doing works, but you ain't keeping the commandments. I need the whole. Christ saying, I don't need half. I need the whole portion. That's like if you go to work all week and payday come, you don't want half of your check. You want your whole check.
Right.
So when it comes to this truth, why do we feel or think that we can just keep the commandments, but when it comes to the works, we'll slack on that?
Right.
Or you can have the syndrome of certain brothers that come in and they want to do the works, but the commandments part, they slack on that. I want to lead, but I don't want to do everything that a leader has to do.
Right.
Why is that? Because you're lukewarm. You partially, when somebody slack is telling you they're not a believer. All right, I'm just turning this light off because that
thing is tripping, man.
I just waited for it to come back on. Give me a second. So when somebody's partial, that's the type of behavior you're going to see. You're going to see the slack that's in them. You're going to see the lack of growth, lack of understanding, lack of spirituality. You're going to see all these things. And it's because they're not doing the things necessary for the Most High to give them the increase. Watch this. Where's that at? Book of James. The book of James. Let me find it. Never the thought process. They're not doing the things necessary for the Most High to give them the increase. James chapter 1. James chapter 1, verse 5.
James chapter 1 and verse 5.
So remember thought. You see some people, they not you can see the lack of growth in them spiritually, physically, spiritually and understanding. They don't grow. They never receive the increase because they don't do the things necessary for the Most High to increase them. And we're going to show that. The Most High will give you the increase. But you got to put the work in to do it. We know that, okay, watch this. Read this verse. James 1 and 5.
James chapter 1 and verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom.
If any of you lack wisdom, come on.
Him acts of God that giveth to all men.
That God give it. Do God give it to some men?
To all men.
God gives it to all men. Come on.
Liberally.
Liberally. Really, I mean, as much as you want, as much as much as the Most High will give to you. He gives it to all men liberally. Come on.
And upbraideth not, and it shall be given him.
And it shall be given him. So Most High says that he gives wisdom to all men liberally. As much as you put in to get, as much as you'll get out of it. The Most High give as much as you push to get. So when you see people lacking in wisdom, it's because they're not doing the things necessary to get it. They don't want it. They're not striving to get it.
All right.
We know it's got to be works that's put in to get some of this liberal wisdom that the Most High has given away.
All right.
It's works that got to be put into it. Now we know it's one step. Psalms 111 verse 10. Psalms chapter 111 and verse 10 real quick. One second.
Psalms chapter 111 and verse 10. Psalms chapter 111 and verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
All right. So the beginning of wisdom, read it again, I'm slacking.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
So the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, right? All right. Now, watch this.
A good understanding.
A what?
A good understanding.
A what?
A good understanding.
So there's a good understanding. So what?
Have all they that do his commandments.
It's all them that do the commandments. All them that have, all them that do the commandments. So we know that to get understanding requires keeping the commandments. So there's got to be some work that's put into this thing.
That's a commandment.
That's a commandment. And then fear of the Lord is wisdom. The Lord said, if any man lack wisdom, if he ask the Lord, which also, like I said, it has to be works put into this thing. You get what you give. I mean, you get what you give. Right. You get as much out of it as you put into it. You get as much out of it as you put into it. If you put absolutely nothing into it, you're going to receive absolutely nothing.
Right.
Brothers, y'all lacking wisdom, and you're not growing spiritually because you're not doing anything to receive the wisdom that the Lord giveth away. You keep the commandments, basic commandments. You put the fringes on. You don't shave your beard. You don't eat shrimp. You know what I'm saying? You're doing those things, but when it comes to the physical part of the works, or the works that's going to pull people out of darkness, you do close to none. And in that, you're partial. You're that lukewarm Israelite that we read about in Revelation. You don't actually believe. You don't actually believe. And how we know that? Because you're partial. But how do we know that you're partial? How do we know that you don't necessarily believe? By your works. Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7.
Matthew chapter 7. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 16.
Let's start it. Yeah, go ahead.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse 16. You shall know them by their fruits. Do man gather grapes of thorns, or figs or thistles?
When you go out to gather the grapes off of the vineyard, when you go out to grab apples off the tree, when you go out to grab oranges off the tree, whatever fruit, when you go to grab these things off the tree, do you take also the thorns and the figs and the thistles with it? No. Come on.
Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit.
Every tree brings forth good fruit. So now, let's just jump down to the point. Let's get to verse 20.
Verse 20. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them.
By the fruits we know them. By the fruits we know them. By your works we know you. We can see that you, anybody that's paying attention can see that you're partial. You can see if you're partial by your works. So you don't have any works. You're not doing anything. That's why you're not increasing in understanding. Or are you doing the bare minimum? Go to 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. 2 Corinthians 13 and 5.
Second Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith.
Examine yourselves, whether you be in the faith. You really have to, I want you to sit back and really examine yourself. Really keep it honest with yourself. Think, am I doing anything in this truth? Am I doing anything that can further this truth? Examine yourself whether you be in the faith. Are you in the faith? Not, I want you to understand. Everybody has a part to play in this truth. You got a role to play. Your role cannot consist of, let's put it like this. Do I have to make you put in work?
No.
If you have to sit there and really take a good look at the picture, am I only doing work when another brother's involved? What are you doing when the other brother isn't doing the work? Because we're supposed to be trading off gifts. If I'm a teacher, I'm gonna eventually have to, okay, I gotta get this brother and pick up his spirit of reading. So do I read? If you're a reader, get with me, pick up the skill of teaching. Do you put classes together? Do you teach? Or am I going to be that one brother that when I get to the tree, the Most High say, you also have the spirit to teach. Why didn't you? I don't want to be the brother get to the table and say, well, I read whenever he taught. I gave you 2 talents. You used 1. So the other talent you buried in the ground. I can fringe. Did you fringe anything? No. Why not? What I'm showing, what I want you to examine yourself and see is, are you really going all out and above for this truth? Brothers, we got big roles to fill. Sisters, you got big shoes to fill. You got roles. We just roles to be. Everybody got to put in their brick. We're not going to get into the kingdom riding coattails. Read it from the top again.
2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith.
Whether ye be in the faith. You know why it says whether you be in the faith? Because you can't get in off my faith. You're not going to get into the kingdom based off the works that I do.
Right.
This has got to be, you got to put in, that's why the scriptures, hold this real quick because we're going to come right back to it. Go to Philippians 2 and 12.
Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence.
Much more in my absence. Come on.
Work out your own salvation.
Hold on. Work out what?
Work out your own salvation.
It said your own. Work out your own what? Read it again.
Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
With fear and trembling. The Most High God said you better work out your own salvation with much fear and trembling. You're not getting in off of my faith. Like you're not going to get in off my works. Let's go back to Corinthians again, 13 and 5.
2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5. Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves? How that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates.
Except ye be reprobates. Christ is within all of us, except ye be reprobates. And a lot of a reprobate is beyond judgment, beyond understanding. A reprobate can't see the wicked that they're doing. A reprobate can't be honest with themselves. A reprobate is deceiving himself, deceiving herself. A reprobate will put in their head that they doing what they're supposed to be doing. A reprobate won't see that, you know what, damn, I've been slacking. I've been doing this, but I ain't been doing that. You know what, I haven't been going as hard as I should be for the Most High. And I'm a newsflash. I'm gonna put you in on something. This stuff that we doing none of this for the Most High. Because the Most High is good. You know what I'm saying? He good. He's straight. The Most High don't need for nothing. You doing this for your salvation.
All right.
To see whether you will be accepted in the graces of the Most High.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? You think the Most High ain't begging you to do this? So I say, okay, you don't want to do it, I'll tell you what, punish him. Some of you got to start thinking about it. This walk is more than just putting on fringes and abiding by the laws and commandments. Because pretty much when you're not doing the works, you're choosing your appetite.
Yeah.
You fit that scripture about the appetite. Meaning you doing what you want to do. I don't mind. That's what's comfortable. That's easy. That's easy for me. I don't gotta eat shrimp. Okay, that's easy. Put on fringes. Okay, cool. Married and okay, that's cool. Don't have unlawful sex. Okay, that's cool. That's easy. But what about when Most High say, go to the highways and hedges and teach my people? What about the Most High said, bring your talents to Israel?
All right.
What about that? What about when the Most High say, surrender your sleep for my words?
All right.
You may have to leave that high-paying job to get you a job that'll allow you to keep the Sabbath, deal with long suffering. What about that?
Right.
So all those things we leave our mind in because now it's asking you to give up comfortability. So yeah, we're keeping the commandments part. We keeping that, but now it comes to the works. Well, I don't want to do that. You're not gonna get in just by fringes. Not gonna get in just by those commandments that don't take you outside of your comfort. You're not gonna get in by that. You're not just gonna make it. As a fact, second Esdras. I'll show you something real quick. Because that part of it is what I would consider to be the faith. That would be the part that I believe to be faith. The stuff that we do on a regular basis. I think that's faith. But what about the works now? The works is what I consider the classes, the highways and the hedges, the fringing. Think all those type of the physical attributes that beautify the school and edify the nation. That's the next part. That's the works, if you ask me. I'm just throwing it out there in that way. What I'm trying to do is the reason I'm putting it like that because I'm trying to separate the commandments that people do on a regular basis. That you know what I'm saying. Really, just I'm trying to separate the two so I can give you a clear shot at what I'm speaking on today.
All right.
All right. Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 9. Second Ezra chapter 9. And let's start at 5.
Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and end, and the end is manifest.
Right. So all things in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. The Bible has told us about the end before the ends come. Come on.
Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works, and endings and effect and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works.
All that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works. Come on.
And by faith.
So it put a distinguish between both.
All right.
By faith and by works. By faith and by works. So it's not just enough for you to just walk around saying I'm doing a bare minimum. You're going to have to put in some work. We're going to have to work to get into the kingdom. Come on.
Whereby ye have believed.
Whereby ye have believed. Now, so now when we get to that point, we have to understand that there are some people that believe in word. That's not actual belief. That means through their mouth they speak in belief. But in their works, it shows to be opposite of that. Now we know that the most blatant sign of somebody who doesn't actually believe is them that break the commandments. We all hark to that. We all know that those that don't believe are those who don't keep the commandments.
Right.
But we never consider, what about those who are keeping the commandments, but they're not actually doing the works.
Right.
The things that's going to wake people up, the things that's going to manifest and edify the nation. Things that will lead our people out of darkness into light. Because that's the whole mission of the Israelite. It's for us to wake our people up out of darkness.
Right.
We completely shoved that to the back burner. This is a big job that we have in front of us. This is a big job, and it's too much for one soul to do. It's too much. It's camps all over the world right now. Why do you think that is? Because it's too much for one camp to do. You gotta be it must be bigger than remember the scripture say we will not enter into the kingdom except our righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees. Excuse me. Except our righteousness exceeds the righteousness of the Pharisees. Well, what was something that the Pharisees did? They were hypocrites. One of the things that they did most often was located here. Go back to Matthew chapter 23. Matthew chapter 23. And let's read verse 2 and 3.
Matthew chapter 23 and verse 3. Matthew chapter 23 and verse 2. Saying the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
Right. They were leaders. They were teachers. They were leaders of the nation. They were supposed to teach the nations. Come on.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you.
Whatever they bid you.
Whatsoever they bid you, observe. That observe and do.
You observe it. Because they taught the laws. So they knew the laws. They were scholars in the laws. So they taught the laws. So they said whatever they bid you, do it.
But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
Right, for they say and they do not. Watch this. They would say things, but they did not do them. So they were teaching the laws, but they weren't applying the laws. Okay. That goes into the works also. Watch this. Verse 4. Stand out.
Verse 4. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but themselves will not move them with one of their fingers.
They will not move it with all. They put all this bravado on people, all this work on people, but them themselves will not move a finger. We put emphasis on Christians not keeping the commandments. But then we let the Christians outwork us. The Christians. They got the deacons, he pushing the same lies the pastor. The Christians, they out on the corners, spreading the false gospel. There are women They doing their job, pushing the false gospel. Pastor teach on Sunday. They got other members stepping up, helping the false doctrine get spreaded. And we let these Christians outwork us, but these Christians ain't spreading the truth. Now, how does that? That's a slap to the Israelite face. We are the Israelites. We have the truth, and we letting the Christians outwork us with the fake gospel. We need more classes going. We need more works going. We need more everything going. We need more. We need the brothers to stop slacking. Let's get this job done. We need our sisters to be more active. It's a lot more that has to be done if we truly believe. If not, then let's just fold this thing up and go have fun. He said, bring them down to the lake. Bring them down to the lake. Go to So the reason I'm thinking, because it's like we got a mission to do, and when it comes to going to do the work of the Most High, you always have to look around and see who is really down for the cause. Like what brothers can you depend on to get the job done? Like even in the nation of Israel, it was extreme methods that was took to see which brothers to take to war, which brothers could get the job done, which brothers could you depend on to do the job. It was measures that was took. Now today, we can't deviate from that same method, because now when it's time, when we in this truth, I have to look and I have to see, okay, what brothers can I depend on to get this job done? What brothers you don't imagine you going into the war. When you go into a war, do you just collect up anybody and go into the war with them? No, you want choice brothers with you when you go to a war. We have a job to do here. We need brothers that are going to be with the cause 100%. They're going to fight the cause 100%. And that means these brothers are going to be willing to sacrifice sleep. These brothers are going to be willing to sacrifice nights at home. These brothers are going to be willing to sacrifice a meal or two every now and then. Whatever the case may be to get this job done. That's the one that's diligent and sincere for the commandments. Diligent and sincere about their people. Because one of the biggest laws in the Bible is to love thy brother as thou love thyself. And that's one of the main things that go into it. You're going to be sacrificing a lot if you're sincere about this truth. let's go to Gideon. I say Gideon. Judges.
What is that?
Let's go to the book of Judges real quick. I want to see this. I'm going to read something. I'm going to use Judges chapter 7. Because as in this truth, it's a lot of people, they will talk good in this truth, but pay attention to them. You'll see that 90% of the time, well, you don't see that most brothers, that's all that is with them, is talk. So in Gideon, we was getting ready to go into war. All right. You'll see, watch the situation. Let's go to Gideon chapter. I say Gideon again. Let's go to Judges chapter 7. Let's just start at the top, verse 1.
Judges oh my God. Judges chapter 7 and verse 1. Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the wall of Harod, so that the host of Midianites were on the north side of them, by the hill of Moreh, in the valley. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hand. These Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, my own hand has saved me. Now, therefore, go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Gilead. And there return of the people 20 and 2,000, and there remain 10,000. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down into the water.
Right. So remember, there's methods to see who was really about the work, who was really serious. The first one was to say, whoever fearful, go back. So a great multitude went back. But the Most High said, hold on, it's still too many. It's still too many. So now here's the next method. What did the Most High say do?
And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down into the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say thee, this shall go with thee. The same shall go with thee, and of whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people into the water. That leapeth of the water shall with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shall thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that bows down upon his knees to drink.
Right. So it's like those who get up and those who lap in the water like a dog, meaning they drink in the water, they're not looking for trouble, none of that. They just head first into the water. He said, leave them. Come on.
And the number of them that lap, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lap will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into their hand, and let all the other people go, and every man unto his place. So the people took victuals in their hands and their trumpets, and he sent all the rest of Israel, every man unto his tent, and retained those 300 men. And the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley.
All right. So the reason I pulled that, just in case you don't get it, the reason I pulled it was because it was extreme methods that had to be taken to find out who was down for the war. And through that, he sent back the rest that were not. He sent back the rest and took those that were ready to go. Now imagine how many people he started with. Started with thousands upon thousands. And at the end, he ended with what? 300 men. So it's telling you a lot of people. Now I'm going to take that to a symbolic note. It's a lot of people that will say things, but when it's time to go and it's time to put these things into action, that's all they were. They will talk. Now let's take it and tie it into today's class. There are many people that will wear fringes, that will not eat shrimp, that will stop fornicating, that will not, they will give up their own lustful desires. They give up those things that they did most common in the world. But when it comes to the actual works, the preparing of the classes, the pushing out of the classes, the teaching, the hitting the highways and the hedges, all those types of things, they'll be just like these men, not fit for the battle, not ready to take the battle, not going to go head on with the battle. That's the reason why I wanted this piece of history, because you can tie this piece of history, believe it or not, you can tie it into everything that goes on today. You have 1,000,001 people that will say they Israel. Not many are actually for the works and the things necessary to get the job done for the nation of Israel. All right. We must come out of the state or the mindset where we must break our comfortability. We must stop being distracted and focus on what's the task at hand. I want to. I had scripture that hit my head and disappeared just as fast as it hit my head. So now, when we take this into account, when you take the mirror and you look into it, what can you say? Damn, what am I slacking at? What should I be doing? Am I doing exactly everything I could be doing for this truth? Am I slacking at some point? Because it's a lot of work to be done in this truth, and it's a lot to be done, and it's a lot of edification that needs to go out. But am I doing my piece to help the edification go out? Am I using all the abilities that the Most High gave me to help this truth go further? If not, you're spending a lot of time basically being of no profit. You're being of no profit. What's that squealer sound? You're spending a lot of time being of no profit. And if that's the case, then don't be surprised when that day comes and you make it not into the kingdom. Scripture said we work diligently to make our election sure. I want to go somewhere real quick. Wisdom of Solomon. Hold on. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 5. And we sitting here and we thinking about it. I'm like, okay, we talking about you when your works, when you're not helping, you're not putting in the works. You leave a brother. Some like we had a scripture that said, shall ye, I forget it off the top of the head. I forget it off the top of the head. Let's read this real quick. I'm gonna.
4 and 5.
Yeah.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and verse 5. The imperfect branches shall be broken off.
Now remember, the similitude of this is the nation of Israel like a tree. So speaking as if the nation of Israel is a tree. The nation of Israel as a tree. Now we take this into let's if we shrink it into a smaller situation, let's bring it into a congregation. Right? The congregation is the tree. The branches are each and every last one of the members. We are all branches to the tree. The root is Christ. All right? The root is Christ. The congregation is the tree that sprung up from the roots. And we are all branches on the tree. Come on. Read it again from the top.
The imperfect branches shall be broken off. Their fruit unprofitable, not right to eat. Meat for nothing.
Meat for nothing means they're good for nothing. So since the unprofitable branches shall be broken off. If you're not doing anything to help this truth go further, you are one of the branches that are unprofitable. You're going to be broken off. Your meat for nothing means you're good for nothing. You're good for nothing when it comes to this truth. What are you going to do to make yourself profitable? What happened? And when you're done, let me get numbers. The unprofitable branches shall be broken off, meaning and meat for nothing means you're good for nothing. What good are you sitting in the congregation? What good are you like? What are you going to do to bring to this truth? What is your particular skill? Okay. For those you in here, like, what are you going to do? Like, okay, if I'm not here, who's going to teach? If I am here, who's going to help me teach? We got feast days. We got all these things that come abroad. Numbers 32 is, I think it's around 6. Basically, what I'm getting at is who's going to help get the job done. We can't sit back and watch one man pull his hair out trying to figure out how everything is going to get done. The job cannot be left on one soul, 2 soul, 3 soul. Every soul that's involved every soul that's around has to be involved. And every soul has to go above and beyond just regular measures. Numbers 32, and I believe it's around verse 6.
Numbers chapter 32 and verse 6. And Moses said unto the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, shall your brother go to war, and ye and ye sit here.
So it's like it's a lot of people in the nation today. It's wartime. It's time for us to be putting in work. We got to be going above and beyond. And there's some people sitting back and they watching. Moses said, "Well, are you going to sit back and watch your brother and go to war? Pick up a sword and fight." It's a lot of work to be done here at One Nation, man, and we got to get it done. We looking at this from just a congregational point, but this is a nation's point. Our nation is running bunkers. Our women are completely out of order. The men are no longer men. Somebody got to help raise these people up. And that means you got to leave comfortability, free time, space, all that. There's no free time in this truth. It's always work to do. What talents do you have are you going to bring to this truth? But we got to also look outside of just talents. We need more things going on, more things that's going to involve the members, more things. We need more. We need more. We need more. We need more. We need more work out of everybody involved. Example, we can alternate with readers, right? If Warrior St. John ain't here, we got Solomon, he can read. If Solomon ain't here, Warrior St. John can read. If they ain't here, I can read. Okay, so we need the same thing with the teachers too. We need alternate teachers. We need alternate planners, alternate cooks. We need everybody fully at works. We need the best. We need everybody. We need everybody's full potential. We got feast days and stuff come up, and a lot of times we got to play worldly music because we got members that are good with music, but ain't putting that talent that we use. We got those who write poems. We may have artists in the building. Can we get some pictures for the school? Draws, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's talents all over, and none of them are being brought to the forefront for the nation. Examine yourself. See if you're really doing all you can be doing for the truth. If not, you're wasting your time. Matthew 26. Let's get out of here. Matthew 26. Let's get out of here. You know I'll cook. You know I'll cook. I know you will. I know you will. I know. I'm using it as a class, though, as an overall spectrum. Glory to the Father.
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Jesus was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much, and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For you have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman hath done be told for a memorial of her.
All right. So glory to the Father. We are told to bring this out no matter what the where we teach it the gospel at. Happy Sabbath, Shalom. This is just I've been up, like I told you, I've been up since 8 a.m., man. Just this stuff running through my head. It's a lot of work to be done. It's a lot of work to be done, and we need all hands on deck. We need everybody going full throttle. I need brothers. I need brothers. I need y'all help. I need y'all producing classes and stuff as well. Also, y'all already. Well, I don't really have to tell Solomon and such. Y'all know we really got to get back to these streets. All type of stuff. We really need to work. We just got to get the work done. We got to get the work done. All right. And everybody here has talents, but I need them. I need you to bring them to the forefront. It ain't for I know you hear me say I need them, but it's not for me. This is going to be your salvation, and this thing also glorifies our Father. We know the sister cook. We're gonna need St. John to get in the spirit and stop being stingy with the food. But now the main thing of this class is just listen. It's more than just keeping the commandments that we keep on a daily basis. We got to actually get into the works. The more it's hard to say because people consider commandments works too, but right. But yeah, to put in the works, I need what I'm saying is the more direct. With that, we say Shalom.
Shalom. What the fuck is that noise?
It must be that speaker box. Shalom, shalom.